Good day, folks, and welcome to the Anorak Review Show with I, your host, the Anorak. Now, over the years, I've talked about a few of Mike Oldfield's mini albums so far: Tubular Bells, 5 Miles Out, and Crises. And hopefully, I wish to cover more of his albums as I can, especially since I've got more copies of his albums. But something I did want to tackle for a while would be his non-album singles. You see, for a time, especially back in the 70s, in between doing his lengthy album epics, Mike would sometimes do these short songs to serve as singles, whether it be a novelty song like Don Alfonso, a rendition of an old folky song like Portsmouth, or Cuckoo Song, or a Christmas carol like In Dulce Jubilo, or a classical piece like his rendition of the William Tell Overture. And he even did a version of the classic Blue Peter theme. Point is, he was certainly more of an album-oriented artist than he would churn out individual songs, at least for a while. By the 80s, when his albums consisted just as much smaller songs as his usual side-long pieces, Mike would eventually get more singles from his actual studio albums here and there. Some of these included To France from a Discovery album, his most well-known one of such, Moonlight Shadow from Crises, the title track of 5 Miles Out, and even a version of ABBA's Arrival in the QE2 album. However, what we're looking at today is probably an interesting and curious case. Right between 1983's Crisis and 1984's Discovery, Mike took a bit of time to put together a new song or two, a new single, and one that wouldn't be part of any of his albums. He would dedicate this to his late mother, who passed away around 1974-75. Mike got vocalist Barry Palmer to sing on this one, as he would on half the songs of Discovery, and the single would be released on 3rd of January 1984, ranked at number 61 in the UK singles charts, and would eventually reach number 1 in Denmark. I imagine someone at the Lego company must have really liked Mike Oldfield. But anyway, let's jump into Mike Oldfield's 1984 non-album single, Crime of Passion. Now, how do I know this song is dedicated to Mike Oldfield's mum? Because this profile right here on the front cover is pretty much her. Maureen Liston, a nurse from Ireland who moved to England and eventually married Mike's father, a general practitioner named Raymond Oldfield. And this photo must have been a very old one, even at the time of this song was made, given its very blurry, almost sepia quality. I don't know if they ever had any filters back then in the 80s, or even whenever this photo in question was actually first taken, but I'd probably guess not anyway. But am I here to talk about parentage and all photos, or am I here to talk about music? I'm sure it's meant to be the latter anyways. So, let's get into it, shall we? The song itself is pretty okay. It's quite moody and atmospheric for a simple pop rock song. Mike does both acoustic and electric guitars here, as well as bass and the Fairlight and Oberheim synthesizers, while the drums were done by Simon Phillips, a well-renowned session drummer who, aside from being involved in most of Mike's 80s albums, had also worked with the likes of 10cc, Nick Kershaw, Asia, Camel, Chemical Brothers, Steve Hackett, Gary Moore, Tears for Fears, Jeff Beck, The Who, John Anderson, John Lord, Judas Priest, Madness, Mike Rutherford, etc. And he was even an official member of Toto for a while. So, quite the man with a resume. Now, for the lyrics, being an elegy of sorts for Mike's late mother, certainly reflect on the sense of mourning and loss. singing about a female figure dying and being taken away. On a bright day she passed away in the morning. It's a cruel way to take her away with no warning. I mean, the least they could have done was leave behind a receipt or something. He took her hands through every midnight hour and then saw her fading away like a spring shower, especially since she was supposed to be showering during the autumn. In the chorus, we get a few references to Mike's life and his mother. Seeing a complete lifetime, pictures and posters of time and fashion. 19 years of note with no reason or rhyme, taken away in a crime of passion. 19 years would likely be referring to the age Mike would have been when he actually started work on Tubular Bells. Just a little fun fact there. Plus, his mother passed away some time after that. And a crime of passion often refers to a crime being committed as a result of a strong impulse or some intensely strong negative emotion, usually rage or envy or something of the like. If there were one thing I would nitpick about the song, is that it does sound very similar to Moonlight Shadow, at least in the riff, the rhythm, and just the overall mood of it. They even share a similar lyrical content about a person whose life was taken away. It seems like Virgin Records saw how much of a hit that song was and wanted Mike to do another single exactly like it, while he just wanted to do a tribute to his late mother. So he just came up with this song as a sort of compromise of sorts, as if to say, alright, I'll do you another Moonlight Shadow. It's just, I wanted to do a song about my mum, so we'll just kind of have it be both, okay? Is that alright? Cool. Although, while Moonlight Shadow has a somewhat lighter tone even in spite of its lyrics, Crime of Passion is certainly a bit moodier with its atmosphere, which is probably a bit more appropriate perhaps. And like any old single, this too has a B-side track, Jungle Gardenia, a short instrumental piece that, contrasting with the dour tone of Crime of Passion, has a more chill and almost tropical vibe. There's nothing too special to it. It could be seen as filler for the B-side, but being a Mike Oldfield composition, it's still a nice little piece. And like most of his work, and contrast with Crime of Passion, Mike did all the instruments by himself here. So at the very least, he shows off his full talent and craft here as usual. Those familiar sounding guitars definitely take full center stage here. And when you hear those guitar sounds, you'll know it's Mike Oldfield doing it. And at about 2 minutes and 44 seconds, it comes in so soon and goes back out so soon. But all in all, Mike Oldfield's Crime of Passion is something of a curio, a curiosity in his discography, and a little song lost in between two studio albums of his, either of which it could have easily fitted into. Is it too similar to Moonlight Shadow? Perhaps, but I wouldn't call it a complete and deliberate rip-off, since it doesn't exactly copy the exact same melody or chord progression or the like. It just sounds alike enough, with some similar lyrical themes onto it too. Jungle Gardenia also may feel more like an interlude than a complete track in and of itself, but I think it too is worth a listen to at least. I still wonder if why neither of these songs were put on either Discovery or Islands or Earth Moving or any of Mike's albums in the 80s. He probably wanted it to be a standalone thing, just as a guest, and as a standalone song, it's a pretty interesting piece in his work, in his line of work. So, whenever you're a big Mike Oldfield fan, or you want to listen to his shorter music, or you're looking for any music of his that aren't in any of his albums, or if you want to introduce friends and family to Mike Oldfield's music but don't want to overwhelm them with his usual long pieces, I recommend giving this a chance and a listen. And if you're in a music shop or a sale and you manage to come across a copy of this somewhere, I say check it out. Otherwise, you could probably find the songs on YouTube anyway. This song may not be a crime, but it certainly is a passion. Next time, Anoraknoween continues as we take a look at the debut album of King Crimson.